Hello friends and enemies, and welcome back to the channel. I am your super fluffy host, and today I shall be continuing the story of the D&D game that I was forced to GM that was also Furry. As a bit of a reminder, this was a game that I joined initially to be a player, and then was forced to be the GM. And then of course found out that it was a Furry game. Our players of course were Fox, who was behind the entire thing, and was playing a Kitsune rogue, Wolf, playing a wolf bard, and who was supposedly Fox's best friend. And then we had Dragon, who was some sort of anthro dragon druid special version of it that didn't have an animal companion. So, with that out of the way, I had to come up with a lot of stuff on the fly. So I decided, after taking a quick look at various character sheets, that nobody had a backstory that I saw. Anyway, they might have, but I was in a rush. I was a bit panicking, trying to get everything done. But anyway, so I decided that the entire group was outside of a cave. They had been hired to go in and take out a batch of goblins that were inside. So I grabbed the monster manual, which all the books were owned by Wolf, or owned by Fox. He had them all, and he let me use them all and everything. But of course, one problem was that there was no GM screen or anything like that, which I didn't really know the concept of that. So anyway, so they get going. There's goblins there. They start fighting them, killing them. It's all going pretty well. They're like level 4, so naturally it's kind of a curve stomp. They do take some damage, radiant actions and everything. I had to look up a lot of stuff. But yeah, it's going pretty good. And then Wolf decides that since the dungeon is almost done, I'd basically just been sketching it out as not technically as they went. I just made some rough lines and was like, okay, they're here, now they're here, now they're here, and yeah. And Wolf was just looking right at it and said, well, the dungeon's almost done, and we haven't found the leader yet, so I'm going to charge forward and attack the leader. Which he figured was down this last final hallway. Which the leader was and everything. I asked if he's sure about that, because the rest of his party isn't with him. He says yes, he charges forward. I tell him to make a dex saving throw. Sorry, that's 5th edition, 3.5. I tell him to make a reflex check, or save, whatever. It's been a while. I unfortunately haven't played 3.5 in a long time. Which is a shame, because it's my favorite version, but anyway. So he does, and he fails, and he takes a bunch of damage from a trap. I ask him again if he's going to wait now that he's triggered the trap. He says no, they're just goblins, so he charges forward, and basically just gets instantly taken down. So, the rest of the party catches up to him shortly afterward, like a turn later, basically, and start killing the goblins. Again, they're just goblins, low level and everything. Even with these bodyguards being a little bit tougher, and the leader being like a shaman or whatever, they still take them down pretty quick. Wolf is stabilized, and I say that I'm going to have the NPC, my character, heal him back up and get him back up. Fox immediately stops me and says, oh no, that doesn't work like that. The only way someone can regain consciousness after being knocked out isn't with healing, but they have to wait a few turns before they can wake back up after they get healed. So I say, oh, okay. Fox says that he's an expert at this, when I asked for him to make sure that's right. And yeah, so Wolf has not gotten back up. And Fox says him and his other character are going to drag Wolf out making sure to go over every sharp rock and bump and boulder and everything to make it as completely. Let's see here. What did he say? He basically didn't want to kill him because I said that, which he quickly said that, oh, no problem. If he goes down again, you can just heal him again. And he's going to make it as uncomfortable as possible. As a note, when I first got it here, when I was talking to Fox, he had said that Wolf was his best friend, and Wolf confirmed that they were best friends, and yeah. But anyway, so Wolf is dragged out, they're celebrated for being victorious, and they're informed that that was their final test before they were going to be selected by the Furry Kingdom, because I figured why not, to go on a special quest into the neighboring human kingdom to check to see if they're going to invade. They want them to basically pretend at being adventurers. Well, not really pretend, I guess. But still, they want them to be adventurers, go through the human kingdom, and find out what's going on. See if they're going to attack or anything like that. So, they go to town to celebrate. They've got a lot of gold. And that's when it happens. All three of them go to the bar. Well, three of them, plus Fox is, of course, second character. Anyway, they go to the bar. And Fox says that he is going to, oh boy, let's see here. Trying to figure out a way to say this that won't make YouTube angry at me. He is going to convince the bar into having adult fun times with his characters. I sort of awkwardly look around, which there's not really anyone in earshot or anything. But I say, roll diplomacy? He starts to argue that he shouldn't need to roll diplomacy because everybody in here is a fairy, correct? I say, yes. They're all fairies. So he says so that if they're all furries, that should just naturally happen anyway. I would like to remind you that at the time, I basically had no idea what a furry was. Very limited. And I had given a safer work sanitized version that I'd seen. So yeah, this comes a little bit out of left field. But eventually he agrees to roll for it. And basically rolls a nat 20. So yeah, adult furry fun times happen in the bar. I ask the other two players what they're doing. Dragon says that he's going up to his room because the room was paid for, and he's going to meditate on the whole mission and everything. Wolf decides that, oh boy. Wolf just says, okay, I'm going to get drunk while all of this is going on. That's when Fox demands that, since the entire bar, aside from Wolf apparently, is having adult fun times, that another bar member should start hitting on Wolf. So I reluctantly agree, say that the person next to them starts hitting on them, to which Wolf jumps behind the counter of the bar, claims that he owns this bar, and is kicking him out. Which I tell him to roll diplomacy. Or, well, not diplomacy, but deception? Yeah, I tell him to roll deception. He rolls pretty well. So the guy figures out, oh, must be telling the truth, and leaves. I then do a quick roll, and it turns out that the bartender that owned the bar, who was a very big lion person, sees them and hears this, gets upset, and decides to throw them out of the bar. And basically rolls extremely well to just send Wolf's character flying through the doors and out the bar. After that, Wolf says that he is going to, since he's been kicked out of the bar, he's going to go find a location in the center of town and start playing his music to earn some gold. I have to look this up right quick and everything. Figure out that it's not really too bad, and so, yeah, he goes to play some music and rolls decently on a performance check. And that's when the private notes start coming in from Fox. He wants to eliminate Wolf's character. Yeah, he has his two characters leave the bar, somehow sneaking out of the adult entertainment that is going on. They buy up all of the alchemist fire that they can find, which they both had like hundreds of gold, so they're able to buy a lot of alchemist fire. They rig up a contraption while Wolf's character is playing, and of course I'm making rolls and everything, checking the time to see how long it would take them. And they technically wouldn't have been able to make it in time for Wolf's performance, or at least set their trap off for Wolf's performance. But of course, Wolf gets done playing and immediately says, "I'm playing again." I have him roll with a penalty this time, and he still rolls pretty good. So he decides that, yep, he's going to stay here and continue playing all day. So, some rolls from Fox. An illusion, because he's a Kitsune and has some crazy powerful illusion stuff, which, okay. He creates an illusion of a person, has them look like they're casting a fireball, and then drops all of the alchemist fire on top of Wolf's character, immediately immolating them. Like they're burned to a crisp. There's practically nothing left of their character. And then, of course, the illusionary person runs off, leaving everybody shocked. And then he sneaks his two characters back to the bar. Yeah. So some time passes, and, the people that hired them come up, let them know that there's been a murder and all this other stuff, but that the kingdom was going to take care of it, because they had planned for something like this happening. So, Wolf does roll up a new character between sessions, because basically that happened like right at the end of the session. But still, speaking of the sessions, we didn't play like once a week. After the first session, I said okay, which ended basically after Fox got taken out, or after Wolf got taken out. So I asked them, when did they want the next session to be? And everybody basically said, "Oh, let's just have it tomorrow," because nobody was working apparently. And I shrugged and said, "Okay, well, let's do it every day then, if we can." I was very new to this whole thing, and doing it every day sort of felt like back in high school. So hey, and Wolf came up with a new character fairly quickly, which was a druid. Seemed to be a standard druid with like an animal companion and everything. But anyway, so when the session started, I tell him not to introduce his character yet, because it turns out the kingdom had cast a resurrection spell or restitution or whatever, and had brought his character back to life. So he didn't need his druid just yet. Which the druid, by the way, was another wolf, with a wolf animal companion. With Wolf making implications about what the druid and the animal companion did. First time with the furry stuff, and this is all being thrown at me, right? Like, yeah, it's... Anyway, moving on. So, the party sets out on their quest with the bard revived and ready to go. They are informed that the town guard had found somebody that looked similar to the person that had committed the murder, and had tried to apprehend them, but a fight broke out, and unfortunately, they were killed. I do this to hope to see if there's any sort of remorse from Fox, but he just sort of chuckles and is like, well, that's what they deserve. Yeah. Fun times. Anyway, so they get it going. They set on their adventure. It's pretty... I'm just going to say boring. The woods are well patrolled. There's not really too much danger on the path that they have to worry about. So they set up camp for the night. And Wolf decides that he is going to go out alone and find firewood. Refuses to tell anyone and just sort of leaves. So he goes out. He basically has no skill at like any outdoorsmanship or anything like that. But hey, if this is what he wants to do. So I do a quick roll to see if he encounters anything, and he does. A brown bear cub. I tell him that he hears a bear cub crying and notes that it seems to be pinned under a log or something. Before I can say that it's a brown bear cub, though, however, he says he's going to capture it and make it his pet. I ask him if he's sure. He says yes. So I do a quick roll. The bear cub starts crying, and here comes Mama Bear. Again, before I can inform him that it is a big brown bear, he says that he's going to attack it. I ask if he's sure. He says that it was just a black bear because, and I quote, a brown bear would be too powerful for a single character to take on. Therefore, it has to be a black bear, because that would be challenge rating appropriate. I just glare at him for a second, and just a little thing to note is that I actually asked Fox why he killed Wolf. He said it was because he was metagaming, which I didn't. I guess the stuff with the goblins was probably a little bit metagamey. But this is ridiculous. This is straight up, he's quoting some stuff from the monster manual at me about a brown and black bear. So I say, okay. And as a note, Fox is just sort of staring at me, giving me this, see? This is why I killed him. But anyway, so they roll initiative. He actually gets to go first and hits it with his mace and does quite a bit of damage. He actually managed to roll a critical hit. A brown bear or a black bear might have even ran off at that, despite the cub being in trouble. Brown bear don't care though. Brown bear still has plenty of health left and just absolutely destroys the bard. So Wolf is dead again. And this is at the beginning of the session. So he fumes a little bit, but then pulls out his other character sheet for his druid and says that his druid finds his dead character, puts their body in their bag somehow. They didn't have a bag of holding or anything. They just said they put the character in the bag and that they're going to go to their druid sanctuary, home, circle, druid circle, and have this character revived again. That's basically how the party meets the Wolf's druid. Wolf's druid just comes out of the woods, says that the bard has been killed by a bear, and that they're going to be following the party for now until they can be resurrected. Yeah. So the new party sets out once more. And that is where I'm going to end it for now. Because there's actually only like 1 or 2 more sessions left of this whole thing. It ended very quickly. But oh boy, does it the stuff get crazy. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed, and hope you are eager for part 2. Apologies that I'm doing this 1 episode a week or whatever. Trying to spread it out a little bit so that it's not overwhelming and all of that. And I'm going to see about trying to get some videos up on Tuesdays and everything. Because I did say I'd try to do Tuesday videos. Maybe I'll talk about Elden Ring because I've been playing way too much of that. But anyway, if you like this, then be sure to subscribe to the channel. Comment on the video. Fave the video. And I shall see you next time.